Thanks for joining me in my next video. I'm going to be changing the engine coolant temperature sensor on a 2007 Honda Accord. It's a 3-liter VTEC engine, and I've been having some rough starts, specifically when I leave the car out, not parked in the garage, and the temperature is starting to get a little bit cooler here up in Canada. And if I leave the car for a few days and I haven't started it, I find that I'm getting some rough starting, and it takes a while to start. So I'm thinking, from what I've been reading, that the temperature sensor is no longer indicating correct readings, and as a result, the computer is not able to mix to apply the proper mixture of air and fuel, resulting in bad starts. Also noticing as well that the idle is a little bit rough. So I'm going to change the sensor. I picked one up off a buddy of mine who sells parts. This is what I picked up, and that's the part number. So this is what it looks like, a new one. This is a new sensor. It's a 17 millimeter. That's what screws into the engine and this is where the connector goes. So to remove the connector, it's the blue connector here. There's a little clip on the side. You kind of just press it with one hand, with your finger, and then just lift up. Let me try to get my hand in there in a good spot. See if I can do this with one hand. Okay, so I've got that off. Now I'm going to take my, it's kind of hard to put a socket in there. There's not much room. So I'm just going to use a 17 millimeter wrench. Going to get that in there, and hopefully it comes out without any problems. Let me just give it a nice little, make sure it's on there nice and tight. Okay, there you go. So once I've got that moving, I can then unscrew it with my hands. Now there is going to be a bit of engine coolant that's going to come out. I don't think I unscrewed that enough. I'm just picking up my key that fell. So let me just unscrew that a little bit more. Okay, hang on. Okay, that's on. There we go. That should be good. That should be good to go. Okay, let me just undo it with my hand now, which I can. I'm going to try to get the new sensor in there pretty quick so I don't lose a lot of fluid. So here's the old ones out. One thing I want to mention is there is an O-ring on this thermal sensor. So this is the old one. This particular O-ring is red. The new one that I installed had a black O-ring. So just make sure that the sensor you're putting in does have a black, or does have an O-ring. If not, then try to use the one from the old one. It should still be fine if you didn't have any leaks. The important thing is as you're putting it into the car, make sure that the O-ring doesn't fall out. Okay, so make sure the O-ring is there, otherwise you will have a leak. And now I'm putting the new one in. Oops, almost put it upside down. There we go. Got the new one in there, but I do notice that I got a little bit of fluid inside of it, so let me just clean that out. Make sure it's clean. That looks okay. Blew it out a little bit. Okay, let me put that back in. You want to do this by hand before you tighten it to make sure that you don't wreck the thread. Okay, so now take my 17 millimeter wrench and just give it a little bit of a tighten. I don't suspect we need to tighten this too much. Okay. Don't want to over torque it. Wasn't on that tight, so I'm not going to put it on that much tighter. I think that's good. Okay, I'll find that later. Make sure my plug didn't get wet, which it did. going to dry that up a little. Blow on it. Okay. Now I'm just going to plug that back in. There you go. Heard that clip. So that's it. That's all it takes to change an engine coolant thermal sensor. And hopefully this will help my car to run smoother and start easier in cold weather after it's been sitting for a few days. Thanks for joining me, and please subscribe to my channel. It will encourage me to make more videos. Thank you.